A friend of mine, she was going through a really hard time because her daughter was born with Down syndrome. And she, at first, went through the embracing of like, we're going to make the most of this. This is who she is. This is who God created her to be. And then in her spirit, she felt like God said, I never actually intended this. And I want you to see what I originally intended, because she won't manifest in who she's fully supposed to be on this side of eternity unless you start in faith to see who she's supposed to be now. That I actually have more intelligence for her than this condition will allow her, that she's going to be such a perceptor, such a perceiver. She's going to perceive so much and articulate and communicate that back. Now, my friend's a stand-up comedian, and so she was like, okay, that's interesting. She's a communicator. This is going to be interesting. And she began to pray for her, and they went through a really rocky journey where people in the church told her, you stop worrying against Down syndrome. That's her identity God gave her. And I mean, I'm all for fully embracing people where they're at and saying, you're enough. Like, I'm not, you know, like, and she was even with her daughter. She's like, if you never get healed, you're enough. You're amazing. Like, I'm not doing this to change you. I'm doing this to look at God's original design and see his nature give you the best quality and potential of life, you know? And so she began to pray for her, and all of a sudden, in school, she had a breakthrough and started learning at the same level as other kids in the school because she was in regular classes. And then all of a sudden she starts to articulate things, and she's not behind emotionally, and she's not behind at all. And her face is the same, but she's learning at the same level as children in her school. I think she's in 5th grade now. She's learning at the same level, and she's socially at the same level as everyone else as a 5th grader. So her mom's watching her go through this progressive healing in her life, that if she had just believed that this is her story, that there's not an eternal story written in the Father's heart for this side of eternity, but this is the condition we have to accept, she would have never dreamed God's dream for her daughter, because who knows what her daughter's going to be when she's 18 and 20 and 25. And she surrendered even, and the worst part of it was that the church was sometimes the meanest about the process, because they were like, well, she looks like she's Down syndrome still. That was a lot of Christians' response. Well, she still doesn't have coordination yet. She's not truly healed, because they're looking for the 100%, not celebrating the victories. I love in the Old Testament where the Israelites were never at 100%. But God had them set up monuments and set up festivals over the victories for the times that they had the most surrendered of the surrender, but they were never fully surrendered. We watched God trying to woo this rebellious, crazy group of people called the Israelites, and he's trying to woo them over and over. Even when Moses comes down with the Ten Commandments, he gets so mad he smashes them. And it's like, I'm done with these people. I'm done with your people, God. And God's like, I'm not. And it's so important for us to understand this part, because if you're going to enter into breakthrough with God, you have to see both scripturally and then also in the spirit what's in his heart for you and your family and your circumstance, because otherwise you will always just be trying to faith it till you make it, which is another term for I'm being fake in my faith, hypocrisy, hoping that a better result will come, but I have no tangible connection to my God or his thoughts in my life right now. And it doesn't work.